Hello, I'm Rythian, and this is another questions and answers video. The game in the background is Duels of the Planeswalker 2013, a video game version of the Magic the Gathering collectible card game. It's pretty fun. I've been playing quite a bit recently, but if you're not interested in that, you can just tab out and listen to this without watching. I'm going to start out by answering a couple of questions combined. There's been a lot of people asking me about generally the process of doing YouTube stuff. Sort of like how I record, what programs I use, how I do things on YouTube, and of course if I have any tips or tricks to becoming successful or whatever. I suppose I'd start out by saying that I use DxTory and I use Audacity as my two major programs. DxTory is a good video recording software that can also record audio if need be, but I prefer recording audio separately in Audacity. Audacity is a freeware and also quite a powerful program that you can use to easily remove noise and tweak things with your audio if needed. DxTory is pretty advanced, but there are plenty of tutorials around for you to learn the basics. Before I used DxTory, however, I used Fraps, and Fraps works perfectly fine for pretty much anything. The main use of DxTory is that you can record separate audio streams into one file, which get really handy for me if I'm recording Ventrilo separately from game sound, separately from my own microphone, for example. I tend to record a couple of episodes at a time, based on what I'm playing. If it's a one-shot, I generally sit down and record like half an hour or so, or 20 minutes-ish in one go. Then finish it up in editing and tweak everything that's needed and then put it up. For a longer playthrough series, such as Bioshock or Dishonored, I sit down and record however much I feel like at the time. I try to aim for at least an hour if I feel like it. If I record much more than an hour, the quality of commentary and playing might degrade a bit. Although I remember at one point I recorded like 3.5 to 4 hours of Bioshock in one go. Bioshock 2, that is. I was really getting into the game and I didn't feel like I was getting any worse while commenting or anything, so I just stuck through it. I really wanted to get to Eleanor at that point. Once you've done and you've recorded all your stuff, what you really just want to do is just do what editing you can. You don't need to be super flashy or be amazing with it. That sort of stuff helps a lot and it makes you stand out. But in the end, it's the actual core content that matters. So if you're a really good editor, put the effort in and it will be noticeable. But if not, the game and your commentary and your personality will have to stand on its own. After that, you just put it up on YouTube, make sure it's properly everything linked. You've got the description, you've got, if possible, some annotations, you've got everything properly playlisted, and you've got a nice thumbnail. Well, assuming that you have a partner channel or whatever, so that you can actually use custom thumbnails. But one of the things I've noticed recently is that annotations is, I want to say, a lot of work, but it's still like 3 minutes, 2-3 minutes per video to set up, and it's very rarely used. Most people don't really like annotations or even use them. I was advised early on, like you can notice back in my Bastion videos, I didn't use any end slate annotations. I did put a link early on, like previous episode, which is pretty useful, which I don't even actually do anymore, which because of the way the playlist system works now. And all the time spent into that is something that most people don't even really use. Most people will watch your video when it comes straight up to your subscription list, so they just click it and go, or they go straight to your channel page and see the recent video and watch it there. And then when they're done, they don't really click on anything. They've already subscribed to you, or they'll subscribe to you via the inbuilt YouTube click link. Not only that, mobile views cannot properly show annotations as of yet, which is pretty ridiculous, but there you go. And last I checked, 40% of my video views came from mobile users, so that's a huge chunk of my audience that isn't actually using annotations at all. Luckily, however, YouTube has improved the playlist system a lot recently, so I'm beginning to make sure that everything is properly playlisted as soon as possible, and that I link to the playlist link in the actual description. Because the description is clickable for mobile users as well, and it's just flat out pretty useful. Beyond that, there is really few things you can do. I'd advise you immediately to stop posting unpopular channels into the comments saying like, hey, can you please check out my video? It's just not gonna work. It's just immediately going to make people annoyed at you. All your comments are going to be marked as spam and people are going to hate you or send hate your way. Not only that, your message won't even stand out. It won't even look like anything. It'll look just like a copy-pasted little thing where you say, hey, I'm doing cool videos, and there's like 20 million other people like you posting it everywhere. No one will ever really check. What you can do is just try to keep your own things and let the quality speak for itself. Make sure that the stuff you actually have up there is as high quality as you can make it, because you want to make sure that when someone notices you, they notice you and like it enough to keep back and possibly tell other people about you. Self-advertisement is basically frowned upon by everyone, but if you can get other people to pimp you for you, that's a pretty good thing. And ideally, again, not in like the YouTube comments, because that's just considered spam, but sort of everywhere else and around, just being mentioned. But honestly, YouTube is, and to become more like a professional Let's Player or whatever you want to call it, is such a hard business to get into. There are millions of people around doing the same thing you're doing. You need to do something incredibly unique, and beyond that, you also need to be incredibly lucky, and you also need to have really good contacts. All of those things are really hard to do. There is no silver bullet, there is no magic tip to be successful at this. The only thing I can really recommend you to do is to like make sure you do this for the love of what you do. Make things as good as possible. Have as high quality stuff as you can and do it because you like doing it. If you then get the opportunity to do something for it, to make money or become professional at it, go for it, but don't expect it. Because if you just get into this and just start making your own Minecraft series or whatever, just like anyone else, and expecting the advertising money to roll in, you're just gonna end up being disappointed and you're gonna hate it. Do your stuff if you love it. Make it as best as you absolutely can. Make your personality shine through and do something that's a little bit different from everyone else. And then you might have a shot. Okay, let's get on to the questions then. Skygirl123 asks, hey Rythian, my question is, have you ever been to Scotland? And if not, would you like to? No, I've never been to Scotland, but yes, sure, I'd love to go to Scotland. There's really nothing particular in Scotland that draws me there, but, well, Ravs and Nilza lives there, and a couple of other people I know, so it'd be cool to meet them, although I've met Ravs already in Bristol. But, sure, I'd go, I suppose, but again, there's really nothing that draws me to there except from people. To me, traveling to a different country holds no value in itself. It's not something to go to just to be there. I go to places for experiences. I go to do things, not to see things. So if I go, it'd be to meet friends or to do something specific that we can only maybe do there. I wouldn't really like just going around to sightsee or just to say I've been there. I don't really care about that much. It goes for the same about everything else, really, in terms of just visiting some place or going on a world trip, or where would you want to go. There's nowhere in particular I want to go. Like, I wouldn't really just want to go to the US, or do you want to go to Australia? Not necessarily. I more like would want to go to BlizzCon, I want to go to PAX Australia, or I want to go to specific things, or meet specific people and do specific things, rather than just go to a country. Shadows Are Grey asks, how were you in high school? I can tell that you're at least 20. Thanks. So it couldn't have been that long ago. Well, it was a while ago, actually. I am 29 years old, and I guess I left high school 12 years ago? Crap, it's really been a long time. 11 years ago. There we go. Yeah. I have to think a bit about that one. How are you in high school? I don't know. I was okay. I've enjoyed at least half of the subjects. I got pretty good grades and pretty good results. I had plenty of friends. I had a couple of girlfriends. I met cool people. I learned cool things. I especially started to really understand that I wanted to do something creative with my life, while also in one way not really, because I started really developing that idea of like, man, I really want to create, I really want to write, I really want to make stories, I really want to be a storyteller. But I was also learning IT stuff and, you know, learning about networks and programming and web design and that all sort of stuff. Because at the time, I thought that wanting to become a writer was an unrealistic dream or anything that I couldn't really do. I expected my life to be that I would have some sort of IT job or a web design guy or a programmer somewhere, while also sort of writing books and stories on my free time and publishing them, like maybe self-publishing them, until one of them magically just became a big hit, and then maybe I could become a writer, but it would never really be something primary I did. I thought that my life would go one way, and then, well, it very much didn't. Roar Screamer asks, hey, can I ask why the name Rythian? I've mentioned this a couple of times before, but I figured it'd be a good idea just keeping here just in case people asking. In high school, I was writing a collaborative story with a whole bunch of people online. And one of the characters there was a multiple personality guy, and one of his alter egos was called Rythian. And I just remember that name later on, like, oh, that's a pretty cool name. And then when I first made my first Blood Elf Rogue in World of Warcraft, I needed a cool name, and so I stuck with Rythian. I was called Rythian when I met Simon and Lewis and the gang, so it's just a thing now. I am Rythian. I'm pretty much always going to be Rythian. Tidgemen Dimple asks, hey Rythian, are you still planning on getting that tuft in your hair like your Minecraft character? Maybe. I don't know. It would look kind of weird, I guess, walking around in real life by that, but I guess I've seen people with weirder hair, and it would be a little bit of fan service just to show people. Whatever, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Shadows2468 asks, watching your series on Dishonored and Blackrock Chronicles and how well you roleplay made me wonder, did you ever consider taking up acting? When I was a little kid, I always wanted to be an action movie star. You know, like a Jet Li or a Jason Statham and that sort of thing. Be just like a badass guy in movies, like saying cool things and doing cool stuff. But later on, as I moved on, I sort of turned more to the other side of the thing. I didn't really want to so much be in front of the camera as I wanted to be behind the camera. I wanted to write, I wanted to direct, produce, I wanted to make stuff, make the story, rather than like acting out someone else's story. Little Mahogany Doors asks, what was your favorite item for Tekkit that isn't included in Yogcraft? This is a simple question, it's Equivalence Exchange 2. Unlike what many other people think, I don't have a problem with it being imbalanced or whatever. That I don't really give a crap about that at all. And it was just a really well done mod. You had so much cool stuff in it. You had such a larger system of advancing and getting cool stuff that beyond just the normal boringness. And it was just fun, and it was great, and you got cool and useful artifacts and rings and stuff. That was just great. Especially for our series, they were just really useful and they worked really well. So when we switched to Yogcraft and we lost that, that was kind of a big deal. It sucks a lot that EE2 is gone. Like I made a story and lore reasons behind why it was gone and everything. So I got to change things, and so at that point it was good that I could sort of evolve things. But I really do miss it anytime I do play. XX Deathnotronic, aka Lori, asks, what has been your most favorite part about making Blackrock Chronicles or your other videos in general? I guess I was gonna say like meeting people that I know and stuff, you know, the Jux's people, but I suppose I already knew them before that. So I don't know, I guess it's just an amazing feeling, be able to do something you really love and have it be your job. I love the fact that I don't have to do another job, like this is what I do now. And it's really fun for me to create and tell stories and see people's reactions and their comments and stuff for what I do. I've wanted to be a storyteller since I was, well, since I was a kid, and now I am. So it's sort of like fulfilling a dream, even though it's very different to what I expected from the very beginning. Worlds with Words asks, do you or Zoe ever regret starting the Blackrock series as it's gotten so big and put so much pressure on both of you? Also, does fanfiction bother or annoy you? Thanks and well done again. Do I regret starting it? No. No, I don't. It is really fun to do. I really enjoy writing the story, creating it, planning it, editing it and putting it out and seeing how everyone reacts. It's really nice and it's really cool, and it's a big part of my success, so I cannot regret it at all. Yes, it puts a lot of pressure on you, but pressure isn't that horrible as long as it's managed well. The only thing that really annoys me is that it also attracts a large part of a fan base which are, well, immature and annoying and entitled and, well, pretty horrible. You get a huge chunk of people who not only do they not care about what other stuff you do, which is fair, I mean, I can tell you what to care about, but they just flat out insult it, or just like spend all the time just commenting about, oh, I just want more Minecraft, more Minecraft, more Minecraft, more Tekkit, more Blackrock. I just sort of demand that thing and like, or threaten me to like, oh, if you don't put on more Tekkit, I'll unsub, or that sort of stuff. Like, that's, first of all, it's not really much of a threat, but not of all, it just shows you how so many people, especially young kids, are grown up to be entitled, and they think that's a fair thing to do. They're getting free entertainment that they apparently like, and they think that the correct way to handle this is to treat the people making them as their slaves. Like, give me what I want, or I'll try my best to dislike all your other videos and unsub or whatever. It's just, that's not how you treat people, especially people that gives you something you like. And I guess that's a shame, but that, I can't blame that on the Blackrock series. It's just sort of, that's part of what's come with making the Blackrock series in general. But no, that's I don't regret it at all. And fanfiction does not bother or annoy me at all. I think fanfiction can be pretty cool. There's some really good stuff out there. There's a lot of bad stuff out there too, but you know, that's acceptable. I don't have to read it, and even if I do read it, I don't have to like it. But the idea of it in general does not bother or annoy me at all. Blue Thunderblog asks if I have a girlfriend, and if I have any family that aren't happy with my career. Yes, I have a girlfriend, who I love very much. Number two, if I have any family that aren't happy with my career, no, not at all. They are very happy for me, even if they don't quite 100% understand. They are slowly getting to understand it a little bit now. I've explained, they've seen my videos, and especially they do like watching the Q&A videos because it's a bit more obvious than, for example, figuring out Blackrock or anything. But they understand, and they're really happy for me. Shamanimal asks, how long does it usually take for you to write out an episode? That varies a lot. For one thing, it's not like we write down a script like that we have to follow or anything. Me and Zoe, and sometimes T and Ravs, we sort of talk about basic ideas, what we want to do. And that can vary a lot. We can have planned events way ahead of time, or we can just do something the day before we do things, or the very same day. Scarlet Wyvern asks if I have any phobias. Nope. No, I don't. I'm not afraid of anything at all, really. There's this thing, I think it's got tryptophobia or something, which makes you like feel sort of like uncomfortable and like a bit grossed out if you see things with like lots of holes in it. Like there's this frog that has a bunch of holes in it, and if you remember the swarm host in StarCraft 2 that birthed kids out of its neck, I think that's kind of gross and a bit but no, I wouldn't say I'm scared of it or anything. So I don't think I have a phobia, or at least I haven't ran into anything that I'm scared of so far. I ended up answering quite a lot of questions for this one, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video in two. So you'll see part 2 tomorrow. So until then, goodbye.